Hi guys, this is Stuti Gogia. In case you are listening this voice for the very first time, you can go check out my social media handles. And this is season 2 of Stuti Speaks. And season 2 is all about my guests. So if you have like, अगर आपने मेरा पहले कोई podcast सुना होगा, तो you must have seen that this season is all about my guest. And today I have a very special guest with me. His name is Anurag Manik. So how I met Anurag is a story. Like I put on my Instagram that is there someone who want to do podcast with me, and at the same time मैंने वो Discord पे भी डाला था because Voice of Anchor gave us a Discord channel where we were interacting with podcasters. So I sent a message there and I got a response from Anurag that he wanted to do a podcast, and I was super happy. And before that, before I talk more about Anurag, first of all, Anurag, many congratulations. He's among the top 10 contenders of Voice of Anchor. The result got released yesterday, and I'm super happy for him. And thank you for saying me yes for a podcast because podcasting with a podcaster is a like whole different story. So today I have Anurag with me. Hello, Anurag. Can you give a bit of intro to my audience about yourself?
Yeah, hi Shruti. Thank you so much for inviting me up here. It always feels nice to talk and to thank you so much for the congratulations you gave. It has been an absolute pleasure to be a part of Voice of Anchor, to be very honest. And so if I have to give an intro, it's the most difficult part I would say because you have to sum it up in ways so that it sounds very fancy and at the same time it's very concise. So. I started podcasting around 2 years ago. I can say that was 23rd of July 2020. And there's a whole different story on why I started. Some other day, I guess. But then when I started, and in this due course, I've got a chance to, interview some of the TV celebrities, some of the Bollywood actors who have, I'm not sure if you know, like G.M. Malhotra, no, sorry, Shruti Seth, who acted as G.M. Malhotra from Sharara. Then I got a chance to interview Kunal Bakshi and a lot of entrepreneurs and influencers from Instagram. So it has been quite an amazing journey, I would say. And I always, I believe that everyone has something, and at times, it comes out to people. You say you talk a lot, you talk a lot, and I never knew I could use it. So I was like, okay, if I talk a lot, let me talk a lot so that I don't have to show my face and to the camera. And I was like, okay, I came across podcasting just 2 years ago, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, I can talk a lot without showing my face. I think it's the perfect thing for me. It was like a match made in heaven. So I think that's how it all started. That's how it's all going up, I guess. It's a brief
थोड़ा
intro about.
थोड़ा सा बता दो like how and why you started. I let's not got into that story too much, but थोड़ा सा idea दे दो listeners को that why you
Uh,
started.
it was obviously, I can tell you, it was for someone I started. It was more of like, a dedication to someone. So that's all I can, details I can give. It was for someone, it was not for myself, it was for someone else. And so
मतलब कुछ प्यार व्यार का चक्कर था क्या थोड़ा बहुत?
not थोड़ा बहुत पूरा पूरा था तो but
पूरा
yeah,
पूरा था. Okay.
but it's still tha. It's not है, so it's a tha. Yeah, it worked. So yeah, it's good, I guess, so far.
For me, I started like मैंने थोड़ा सा शुरू करा because I wanted to like कुछ चीजें होती है ना you want to say vent it out but आप अपने face के साथ vent out नहीं करना चाहते like you said.
हाँ,
मतलब मेरे को था कि मैं डाल दूं because it should be out of my system but nobody knows कि ये किसने डाला है. मतलब ऐसे तो लोगों को पता होगा because मैंने अपना नाम डाला हुआ है बट फिर भी होता है ना कुछ चीजें तुम फेस से लाइक वीडियो से इतना क्लियरली नहीं बोल सकते जितना ऑडियो से. दैट्स हाउ आई स्टार्टेड. तो आई थिंक थोड़ा सा सिमिलर पैटर्न है. But yeah,
हाँ.
let's go more about it. तो फिर वहाँ से जर्नी शुरू हुई. Then how it went to like celebrity podcasting or M Square. How did that happen? कैसे हुआ वो सब?
So I would say was again I believe in luck a lot. So I think and I believe in timing. If you're at the right place at the right time, things work, and you create your own timing. I guess at the end of the day. So it has been the case with me. Like I feel the audio medium works well for the kind of person I am. I'm a very lazy person, so to edit a video is a whole different ball game altogether. To edit an audio is not that difficult, I guess. So I was like, yeah, cool. I was like, cool, and like not much effort is required. It suits my nature of work also. And you do not need light, so you can do it at night because I'm not a morning person. So, I wake up, I stay until late and then I wake up late. So it works well for me because, no need of lights or just your voice. And I'm a, the toughest part was trying to find different sort of voices which sounds good on mic. So I can tell you this: when my parents listened to my podcast for the first time, which is just 2 weeks ago, okay, and they're like, "Who's this guy talking?" I'm like, "It's me." They're like, पर तेरी आवाज असली में तो इतनी अच्छी नहीं है, इसमें इतनी अच्छी क्यों लग रही है? And then I'm like, oh, because वो मेहनत करनी पड़ी थी, मेहनत भी नहीं, but it's like, I tried to inspire a voice from Christopher Nolan's Batman, Christian Bale. Okay, so I went through all what he has done to, so Batman has a different, very heavy bass voice. So I was like, how if Christian Bale can do it for a movie, I can at least do for my podcast. So I was like, yeah, that's how I started. And then if you come to the point of celebrity, it was again, I will say, sometimes that in life, I feel you just cross paths with certain people whom you not know how can they help you, and eventually they end up helping you. So I had a friend. She was not a friend. It was like she used to sell something, and I used to buy it from her. And after a point, we became friends. I came to know that her previous profession, that she was what do you call, a manager for different celebrities.
Okay.
In Bollywood, in Mumbai, when she used to stay. So she used to be an assistant manager. So through her, I got some contacts, which I obviously, tried my luck, proper trial and error method. I tried some, and it worked with Shruti ma'am. So I invited her. It worked with Kunal, Bakshi sir. So I invited him, and then I think I did it with Nidhi Bhanushali also. So this is how I got. I mean, like again, I'll say it was again meeting some people very randomly, and I try to do key. I do not want to use a person. If I know they have contact, I'm like okay, and build a relationship like proper, and there is no what do you say. I don't try to have a third intention in my mind. कि नहीं नहीं इससे ये फायदा होगा इससे फायदा होगा. I never had
Hmm.
that in my mind, I guess, and I think that works, I guess, eventually. But yeah, so
Hmm.
that's how I got these celebrity gigs. That's how I got into podcasting. That's how it all started, with the voice and all. So I have
Hmm.
like I don't know how the voice became. So I have a different voice when I talk in general. I have a different voice if I'm on stage, doing something, and I have a different voice when I record something. So I think now it has gone down to my subconscious, and वो automatically होता है जैसे that movie था ना अपरिचित में, and like it's subconscious, and like then he switches. It's like a multiple voice disorder, I can say now.
Disorder helped in your favor. So, anyways, it's good. Like if it helped, it should not be called as disorder. Like it helped in your favor. So yeah, something like your superpower now that we
Yeah,
can say, right?
yeah,
And the one thing which we said I can relate to when you talk to people like isse kya I can get. I mean, I don't think you get that much when you are genuinely interested in talking to people or learning from them or conversating them. कि ठीक है, but I can learn because ये मेरा when I came like when I started this program Voice of Anchor उससे पहले I was doing this solo podcasting, but suddenly this thing came to my mind कि जो लोगों से learn करके मिलता है ना, even if you are reading a book, वो book भी आपको पढ़ने में 3-4 दिन लगेंगे, but when I talk to somebody like you, like 30-40 minutes में I can learn so much, राइट, बिकॉज
true.
आपका कुछ एक्सपीरियंस होगा और मेरा कुछ एक्सपीरियंस है, तो व्हेन वी टॉक व्हेन वी कन्वर्स वो कन्वर्सेशन भी एक स्किल है, राइट, बट आई कैन गेट फ्रॉम यू इन दैट 40 मिनट्स, लाइक मेरे को लगता है कि बहुत फायदा होता है, एंड इट्स नॉट लाइक मुझे कोई कॉन्टैक्ट मिल रहा है, लाइक आई एम टॉकिंग टू यू के मुझे अनुराग से कुछ फायदा हो जाएगा इन आपका, इट जस्ट टॉकिंग कन्वर्सिंग, एंड ऑब्वियसली
Mhm.
अगर कोई तुम्हारा फ्रेंड बन जाए या कोई तुम्हारा बेसिकली यू बिकम बिजनेस पार्टनर और को फाउंडर, वो बहुत बात की बात है, आई मीन इट्स
True.
लाइक तुम कन्वर्सेशन उस इंटेंशन से नहीं कर रहे हो
हाँ.
बेसिकली, राइट, तो या दिस ऑल्सो सो आई कैन कनेक्ट ऑन दैट, तो ठीक है या और सम यू वर सेइंग समथिंग या
So I feel like I'm like a proper monkey, like I'm a proper monkey. Have you seen a monkey? What does a monkey do? Like they try to imitate anything what they're trying, what they see in front of their eyes. Like they do not think much. So I just thought, okay, that's a very good skill. If I just apply a little bit of more of my brains, I can actually pick up good things from people, right? So I
hmm.
feel there is one very good thing which was inbuilt in me. We all have certain things which are inbuilt in us, right? We all have a default setting. So my default setting was I've been a decent observer. I would say okay, it's not very great or something, but I'm a decent observer. So, even if I'm, and I have the skill of hiding it, so you won't know I'm observing someone and someone, and so I try to observe a lot, and I pick up things. Okay, this thing can look good, this thing can do well for me, this thing can do, and I try. At times I win, at times I fail. That's a part of that. But yeah, I try to pick up things from people and all, like how they are doing things, how they are trying to. So if you ask me what did I learn, so I started when it came to Voice of Anchor, I came across Talaya. So, I started understanding her what is her understanding of audio is so good. See, she
Hmm.
understands audio music, I am saying. So the music is so good. I mean, like she's creating drama through music. Okay. So, and that was something which I really liked. If you ask me, so I was a part of this group in I think in March where Anudeep and was there, Suyog was there. So from Anudeep, I learned she has a very what do you say, a very pausing voice, and she has it naturally. Okay. So and when I listened to it, I was like, okay, this is something which I can pick up for my own voice. It will add wonders to my content. And then Suyog is a very good voice, I would say. So Suyog's I picked up that. So I keep picking up things from people. So and so I can say I'm an amalgamation of all the things I've picked up from people. I pick up sometimes if it's too good, I pick up directly. I do not apply my brains. But if it is something I'm like, okay, this is something which I can tweak to suit me, I tweak it up and then like apply. I'm like, if you have somebody, if I like whenever I die and somebody picks me apart, they'll be like, "Arey, ye to iska part, iska part, iska part." And there'll be just too many, fixtures working into me. So that's how I started podcasting. So, and this is how I try to improve throughout, like to get better at times.
एंड ये हाइब्रिड हो जाता है लाइक अगर आपने एक एक चीज पिक करके अनुराग मर्ज इन देमसेल्फ तो वो एक अनुराग की भी आइडेंटिटी बन गई ना मतलब यू
Yeah.
हैव merged those in your those fragments and now you are like having your own something right maybe
Mhm.
those people उन्होंने भी कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ पिक करा होगा but it's like a
Mhm.
chain reaction right and that
Yeah.
so अभी तक how many podcasts like कितने कर लिए 50 plus you have done कितने podcast कर चुके हो how many
So
podcasts
I
have done
think so. I started with M Square. M Square is basically an interview podcast where we interview people, their journey. So recently I interviewed Jugadu Kamlesh from Shark Tank. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so his episode I have to release. So that is it. So M Square is my interview podcast. Then I was a part of Indian Film Project. There was a podcast labs which Spotify did. So Indian Film Project did. It was not a similar program at Voice of Anchor, but that was more of like a mentorship program where we were assigned one mentors each. So like say suppose there were 100, I think there were 300 people, and then 100, and then they assigned one mentor to 10 people. And when I say mentors, these are people who are already famous podcasters. So my mentor happened to be Zarina Poonawala. She has a podcast by Life Manifesto. She works with IVM Podcast. And then I'm not sure if you know that Desi Crime Podcast is there, right? And so
I've
his
heard about it.
yeah, so his host, the host was there as one of the mentors. So these were all podcasters who have been podcasting for at least 5 6 years. So they were our mentors, and it was a very nice program which they did. I luckily happened to be 33 people eventually graduated from the whole podcast labs which they did, and so I was one of them. So like, that was again a lucky thing you can say.
Very nice.
So
Hmm.
that is what. So there, I think I made around 25 episodes. Voice of Anchor, I think it was 50, I guess. And now my interview podcast, I think, has 19 now. 20 it will be by this next week. 21 it will be, I guess. So you think
So
you can say in and all,
sorry.
I have around you can say 50 to 60 unique episodes.
Okay. So sorry. I so multiple podcasts. So one is like M Square, which is interview based podcast. उसके
Yeah.
अलावा कौन कौन सी बताइए आप?
Yeah, so see, the thing is, the problem is that all of these two both programs, right? Voice of Anchor and Indian Film Project ka podcast labs, they needed you to have a podcast on Anchor. My podcast was distributed through Podbean. So I could not have
Okay.
M Square in both of these. So they have to start a new podcast basically in those. So I have total, you can say, my main podcasts are two, which is M Square and what do you say, the Voice of Anchor, the Anurag Manik Show, which is there. But
Okay. Got it.
yeah, for Anchor for Podcast Lab, I just created an M Square pre-season because I have to change the name. But my
Hmm.
registration there was with the M Square one. but so I have to give a different name because two names cannot be there for the same podcast. So that is why
That right.
you can
Yeah,
say
yeah.
overall two podcasts are there. And so yeah, that is how it is. Like two podcasts, and you can say 50 to 60 unique episodes. I have a lot of recordings to be posted. Around 40 episodes I have recorded. So if
Amazing.
if I am a little more dedicated, I can say I have content enough for 1.5 years if I post 2 episodes daily. But yeah,
Wow, wow, that's amazing. I मतलब मैं अभी अभी आई एम डूइंग अ वीकली वन एपिसोड मैं उसका भी थोड़ा स्ट्रगल चल रहा है मेरा मतलब आई ट्राई कि मैं स्टॉक अप कर लूँ बट यार अमेजिंग लाइक so
my
many
stock
like 1.5 year content ready is big thing. You can chill
yeah.
for a year like 6 months chilling not doing any podcast and you are done.
Yeah, but then the thing that you will lose, see, as you say now, ki, the more you use your sword, the more sharp it will be at the end of the day. So, I
Oh,
feel talking is is a ever building art. I say, I do not take it as a skill; it's an art which you can, it's obviously you can develop over time. I feel I have developed over time. I remember the first time I went on stage was in standard 10th, where I wanted to go on stage because I liked the whole spotlight thing. I love being in spotlight. Okay, I'm very honest about things I like. So I love being in spotlight. I love to be put in front of 70, 80 people. All be like, hey, go on, go on, go on. That never happened, but yeah, I do want that to happen. So I remember I was in standard 10. So they said, so in a school assembly there was a portion where you have to speak a prayer, right? Speak as a prayer. So we have to tell a story on the theme of the assembly which is going on. So ours was poet. So I prepared a story from ancient times. I like ancient stories and mythology. So I was like, okay, fine, let me start from there. And I started the story. I remember they were all 9, 10th, 11th, 12th class. I was in 10th, so 9, 10th, 11th, 12th had the assembly together. My crush was there, obviously, and I wanted to, make an impression. And I remember, apart from my voice, every single body part of mine was shaking. It was not shaking. I was waving. It almost was like so. My principal, and there was nothing to hide. It was a mic open, pura stage, and then I'm like standing there shaking like shit. But I'm telling the story, okay. And my principal came up to me after the seminar, and she's like, "Yeah, Anurag, everything was so good, but why were you dancing on stage?" I was like, "Mom, I was not. I was very nervous, okay." And I came back to class. People were like, you delivered it so well that nobody told me actually that your legs were shaking and all. I was like, were you not able to see? And then I thought people will, laugh and all. Nobody laughed. Like, not even my section, other sections. And the faculty started praising that you told such a nice story. And I'm like, oh, people don't notice it. I was like, cool, my legs are not getting noticed and I'm very happy about it. So that's
Actually,
how I
हमें ही
think,
लग रहा होता है हमें ही लग रहा होता है that we are but people are just they are so
yeah.
concentrated on so your good thing हाँ
Yeah, so that's I think that was if you ask me when I started, I when I think back, that was the first time I went on stage, and I fell in love with stage. I really fell in love with stage. So I do not leave any opportunity to go on stage. If you give me the stage, I'll be like, "Arey, मैं तो ले लेगा." So if you ever ask me, "Do you want to go on stage?" I'll be like, "Yeah." I would no think I would go there to stand, but I like going up there. I don't know why and how, and I think that's how I got the chance to open the show for Rahul Subramanian also once. So I think.
अच्छा wow the
I was just doing backstage and they asked me. So the thing is, I was hosting a show and they like I went backstage and they're like, Anurag, do you want to open it for House Seven? I was like, I looked at them and was like, why is that even a question? You should have ordered me go and open. And I opened. I went backstage. Rahul Subramanian was standing there and he's like, bro, you are energy. And he said, macha diya. And at that time, macha diya was not a word I have heard. Okay, that was the first time. And I'm like, thank you. And I just said, thank you. I was so stupid. I should have clicked the picture. And I was like so mesmerized with the fact that what he said, I didn't even click a picture. And I felt so stupid about that, but still it's okay. Like that memory is so much edged into me and I think that will never go away also. So yeah, like
that's
these are the things.
nice
Yeah.
can I tell you something that while talking to you, this is something spiritual. And listeners or people who are listening to me, there's a very blue kind of wallpaper in Anurag's background. And Anurag, I'm like into spirituality, and the blue is the color of throat chakra. And it's perfectly going with your theme and the kind of work you are doing. So it's like you are so honest, you are so energetic. कि बिल्कुल sync में everything around you is making sense of what you are in your personality wise. So I actually want to compliment you. Like the background, the books, the kind of person you are, it's all going in sync. And when I'm talking to you, I'm getting those vibes. कि हाँ, whatever is in your heart, you are saying. It's like कुछ लोग होते हैं बोलने के लिए बोल रहे हैं because you want
Mhm.
to talk. Like it's like coming as your vibe, and the blue color is perfectly going with your like whatever you are. Like your throat is actually your throat chakra is still developing, and I'm seeing that you're going to the higher level. So yeah, yeah, you can
Thank you so
continue.
much.
Thank you.
I know
Yeah.
that, to be very honest, I didn't know this, like the thing which you have told me, right? I didn't know this, and it's so nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because blue is the color of blue is the color of throat chakra, and it's like completely syncing with what your personality and what you're doing. So, so yeah, Rahul Subramaniam, you can talk about more of these experiences. Do you have more about such experiences like you had with Rahul? Any more
Yeah, so
celebrities?
yeah, so that
Any
was one
open
of
mind?
the experience. Yeah, that was one of the
Yeah.
experience which I have had, and that was very nice. I felt. And like if you ask me more, see, then it has been a proper lockdown, I guess, 2.5 years now, 2 years almost, and I've not even got a chance. I almost stopped going on stage once I joined my firm, like working, right? And I was very clueless once I joined because I was like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I don't know what to do. And 1.5 years passed away like that, and then I came across podcasting and I told why, and that was in 2020. I had no idea what to do, how it is done. I googled, and then it said that you need to have a mic. So first episode I remember in my M Square podcast, my trailer, if you see. Okay, I have to change it, but my heart does not allow me to do so because it's so raw. I can hear the fan,
Hmm.
I can hear the dogs barking. I don't know why I had such a thick accent. I mean, like I'm not sure if it sounded like I'm from some Ireland or what. I mean, like who like and I don't know how it all started. But then my first episode has so the first episode I think I started recording it on phone, and then I realized, the phone was getting disconnected because the network was not proper. I used to live in Bangalore, okay, and the network was some issue with the network there was. So I was like, "Ab kya kare?" Then I googled how to record a podcast, okay, and this is when I'm recording my first episode, how to record a podcast, and then it said you can record it on Anchor, and Anchor is much better, much stable now. It was not in
Hmm.
2020. It has developed a lot in
अच्छा.
1 year. It has developed a lot.
Oh.
So I sent her. So she was a friend of mine. She and the first guest. So I sent her the anchor link. She joined. There is so much of voice distortion now. Matlab, and I didn't know कि you'd have to edit the beach ka part also. So I added an intro music. I added an intro matlab जो guest का था, and then I added an auto music, and I was like, oh, my podcast is done. And I uploaded it also. It was not like I didn't upload and all. I uploaded, and
Wow.
it's still there, and I am pretty sure okay, I'm not going to remove my first episode. It actually, gives me a benchmark on how you have evolved. And first episode, I think for me, the first are very special, right? I'm a very emotional person,
Obviously.
I'm a very emotional
Hmm.
person. I'm attached to things. And I bought a phone last year, and that is still I thought कि पुराना phone हो गया है, and पुराने phone को तो अब I have to like leave. And I am so attached to that phone. I'm like यार ये फोन को बुरा लग जाएगा आई कैन नॉट लीव द फोन नया आ रहा है पुराने को छोड़ दो and that is still my primary phone. Okay, the new one is now become a secondary phone, but that old one is still my primary phone. And I'm like it's my, so I think I have a very high level of attachment to things. And so that is why, so that is how my podcasting started with the first episode, the trailer. I have to change the trailer now that I understand, because that sounds too funny to be honest, and it sounds too wannabe vibes. It's just like a wannabe vibe which is there in that episode. And
बट
uh,
आई थिंक वो भी जर्नी होती है. आई थिंक द डिसीजन यू केप्ट लाइक कि इसको रखेंगे. बहुत टाइम मुझे भी ऐसा लगा कि पुरानी वाली पॉडकास्ट डिलीट कर देती हूँ. देयर इज नो मीनिंग टू दैट नाउ. मे बी
yeah,
जो मैंने वेंट आउट करना था वो कर दिया. बट नाउ आई फील कि अगर वो जर्नी यू डोंट रिमेम्बर ना, देन देयर इज नथिंग रॉनेस अबाउट इट.
yeah,
यू विल बी लाइक कि ठीक है, मतलब थोड़ा सा ग्रो कर गए तो भूल गए कि कहाँ से शुरू करा था.
right, right.
आई थिंक वो एक रिमाइंडर होता है टू कीप योर सेल्फ ग्राउंडेड कि देखो यहाँ
Yeah,
भी थे यार. You have improved
I
from
believe
that
that
level.
so much. I just I'm in very much sync with what you're saying. If you
Hmm.
look at where you started, right, you will remain grounded to where you have been. And I have had that problem. I have started flying in the air after something happened or something good happened. And then I can tell you this happened very recently, like 1.5 years back when I interviewed Shruti ma'am. And there is one interview which I did, which I could not post. And so when I talked to those people, they were so humble, and they were like, in my eyes, they have achieved everything. To be very honest, okay, if I reach to a level of which Shruti ma'am is there, I would sleep my entire life off uske baad, I guess. So, but they've reached a certain level which felt is like a destination to me, and I'm like, okay, they're just so humble, they're so grounded, they're so nice. I mean, and then I'm like, why am I being arrogant? I'm such a stupid person, to be very honest. And I was not arrogant, but then you can feel there's a change in the attitude. And then I
स्लाइड
start.
सा ईगो पिच इन करने लग जाता है, स्लाइड
Yeah,
सा ईगो.
yeah. It's it gets into your head, I guess. But then I realized, okay, cool. Now I need to tone it down, and maybe it might. I felt like I'm not sure how it was. I don't know how to put it in words, but that I felt it needs to be toned down. I would not like this version of myself 5 6 years down the line. I was like, let me leave it off, and like try to be more grounded. And when I started it, and when it gets registered in your subconscious, I feel it starts acting it out like I say. So that is how it is, I guess, now for me.
बट अभी हाउ आर यू फीलिंग टू बी इन टॉप 10 वॉइस ऑफ एंकर, और ऑब्वियसली वो फिल्म प्रोजेक्ट करके अभी कैसा लग रहा है? आगे के लिए क्या प्लान्स हैं, क्या सोच रहे हो?
Yeah.
Because anyways, this is also a big achievement, like being in top 10 of Voice of Anchor, that too first batch. And I'm sure this is up to podcasting is growing in India. आने वाले टाइम में, like now I see US and Jay Shetty वगैरह, they have this collaboration with the brand. जैसे अब videos पे होते हैं, eventually they will be coming to podcast radio shows. वो रेडियो शोज तो ऑलरेडी आते हैं, इट विल बी कमिंग टू पॉडकास्ट एज वेल. तो अभी के लिए क्या प्लान है, लाइक व्हाट आर यू थिंकिंग, एंड ऑलरेडी बीइंग द फर्स्ट स्टेप लाइक वॉइस ऑफ एंकर होके, सो या.
So I feel it. I feel very nice. To be very honest, I cannot say. And it was a good. I have always been very upfront about how I feel. People ask me what's your motivation. I tell them it's money, because until and unless I have a lot of money, I cannot say that money is not my motivation, right? So that's what I feel. Like at this point in time, I am my. So if you ask me how I feel very happy, to be very honest. And then a lot of thanks goes to the team I was a part of, as the team mission which came up, like Riddhi, Anudeep, Diksha, and Taleha, obviously. So these all people, they've literally motivated me to do something, to get out of my comfort zone and start doing. So then I did that series, which I did towards the end, and now I suddenly feel like I have more ideas to curate. I want to curate a podcast web series again, like proper one with proper drama, with proper
वाओ.
arc characters. So that is one of the things in working. I have so right now you can see my pinboard. So there are 7 ideas which I've mentioned. These 7 types of podcasts I want to start on. So so that is, I think I'm going to start in the next 2 3 months. Hopefully, all 7 will at least start get going. So yeah, that is the plan. To have at least 8 to 9 working podcasts is my plan. So now this is
वाओ.
motivated. Okay, I feel no, I'm a person who needs that initial rush. Okay, I'm a very dopamine centered person. So जब
डोपामिन, हाँ.
dopamine मिलता रहता है ना क्या मिलता है. So now it has come in, I guess. Now you're giving me that dose of dopamine. Now I'll come up with ideas, and now when you say I can see those 7 things, then I'm very much sure that will get started, because it took me 2 years to start one podcast, but now after this Voice of Anchor and IFP, now I've seen people, So I'll tell you one incident which has literally motivated me back to, start giving my 200% at Voice of Anchor, because I did all missions until December. Then I missed those few missions, and then I started again, back again with all the missions, right? So I went to this. There was a food fest in Raipur, which was happening. I went with a friend of mine. So her office colleagues were also coming in. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll meet them also. करके. So they came in, and it was her. She works in a bank. She has a government job. So a manager also came in, and manager is our age only. My age, sorry, my age only, 28 and 30 in that range. I guess he was. So I was talking to him, and then my friend said, "Kyare, he has a podcast." So he said, "Which podcast?" So I said, M Square. So he said, "Are you're Anurag of M Square?" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
वाओ.
And like, oh my God, what did you just say? And then I was left speechless. Okay, like. I had no words to say. I was like, oh my God, अब मैं रो दूं क्या यहाँ पे करके. I actually thought, and then I'm like, how do you know? Okay, though it had decent amount of listens, so I was like, but I never expected to meet someone, right? It's such a big one. I'm like, how do you know? I asked him this, okay, and he said, no, I listen to it when I go to office and when I come back from office, I listen to it. And he's like, I really like your interviews and all. So I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I was like, what do I do now? I was like, it's just like a kid who is lost in a mela or something, and it's like the kid is clueless to do what, and I'm like, okay, please tell me what to do, otherwise I'll start crying यहाँ पे खड़े खड़े, and I don't know what. So yeah, so
And
this
I can so much relate to that because अगर ऐसा कोई incident हो जाता है ना, then you feel more motivated. Something like
yeah
this happened to me as well. So yeah, that's how you feel के जो कर रहे हो वो ठीक कर रहे हो, you can keep going. जबकि you are feeling कि मैं lost हूँ, I'm not sure कि मुझे क्या करना है. But there
true.
was this girl who came to me and she said, उसने बोला कि I heard your story on somebody's channel and I'm really inspired. And I was like कि wow, मतलब the third person channel पे she heard my story and she's inspired, so now I need to do more. So वो अपने
Yeah,
आप ही you feel like कि और जबकि you are like maybe you are not realizing कि you are doing something which is worthy enough to inspire somebody
yeah,
or to help somebody. So I can so much relate to that, but I think that's really honest and very inspiring. So you
yeah.
how do you motivate like road money is one motivation that you told, like that's really nice, that's being honest. और क्या है जो self motivated रखता है, like the top things like this obviously is an add on, like self motivation के लिए वो
Yeah, so like now, the two things now. So when the first thing, like what you said, right? So I have a very, there is a very, there's a quote which I relate to a lot. Like, while you were doubting yourself in a set of rooms with people, the everyone else in the room was intimidated by your own presence, by the talents. Like while you were doubting your own talents, everybody else was intimidated by the fact that how talented you actually are. So that is one quote which I really relate with, and like what you told also. So how do I motivate myself? Is you know I know I'm not very talented like a lot of people, right? I have a few things which I feel like I can contribute in a way, like in a much better way, to be very honest. And I always felt, see, I'm a very introverted person, okay, but I'm not the same when I go on stage. So I realized this at some point in my life. Ki, okay, I'm a different person when I'm speaking to a crowd, but I won't go. I'm not the life of a party person. Okay, if I'm sitting, if I go to a party, I'll quietly choose my corner and sit there and like have my own time with three four people I know. I'm not the life of the party person, but I like to be on stage. So I was like, ऐसा क्यों है यार, मतलब कुछ तो reason होगा. So that is what. So when I started podcasting, and I felt, okay, this is something which I can do. I mean, like, I feel at ease in this. I feel that this thing comes naturally to me. And it's more of like, I can contribute way much better. So I I've been I've been very good. I can say very lucky to, I've always known things I cannot do. Okay, I'm not sure if I know things I can do or not. Like मतलब मेरे को ये नहीं पता रहता कि ये चीज मैं कर सकता हूँ, क्या क्या चीज में मैं अच्छा हूँ. I'm good. I do not know, but I certainly know things I'm bad at, and there are a lot of things I'm bad at. Okay, so I've narrowed it down to things which I'm good at, and I try to do those things, and I believe in celebrating every small what do you say,
win.
success which is there. I celebrate anything. मतलब
तो
I
कल
can
क्या
even.
करा था, कल
अरे
क्या
I
करा था?
went, so there is I had a leg injury, so I go to physiotherapy. Okay, so I went there. We had a party there. Okay, I've
Wow.
got very few friends in Raipur, so I celebrated with my doctor. Okay, I was like, okay, like that's sad. I'm not sad, but it's very happy. So then there is a place where I drink coconut water every day. So there is the भैया जो है जिनसे I buy, उनके साथ I went, उनको मिठाई खिलाई, ठीक है, and
Wow.
yeah. So that is in the ghar pe we celebrated. We cut a cakes other than the one which voice of anchor sent, like which Winkle sent. And so uske alawa we cut a cake. We'll celebrate it today also, I guess. I will go somewhere in the evening, hopefully. So I'll celebrate it for 3 4 days, okay? Because I feel no. Now, see, there are two ways to take two kinds of successes. One is the success which is there, when you crawl, when at the very bottom, and then you crawl up to a level, right? And nothing can match that level of success, right? Now, if once you are at a level, now you can only go upwards. फिर उसके बाद वो steps ज़्यादा बड़े नहीं होते. but to actually crawl your way through, a pit where you have been to reach to a certain level, and then वहां से जो होता है ना, that is different. So a lot of people are already on that level and they begin from there. It's like, that Ananya Pandey and Siddharth Chaturvedi वाला कि जहाँ इनके सपने, जहाँ से इनका स्ट्रगल शुरू होता है, वहां हमारे सपने पूरे होते हैं. So we
Hmm.
have to reach that place of सपने पूरे होते हैं. अब यहाँ से आगे बढ़ना is not that thrilling, or because now you can do it. Previously you didn't know if you can do it or you know. So there's a different level of high to it. And so this is what I feel now it is the case. So it keeps me motivated. I'm more motivated, to be very honest. And I tried things. So if you ask me how to motivate myself, I feel like, there are certain things which make me feel very happy. Like that, I practice martial arts. Okay, so
Wow.
I try to learn. I'm not good at it, but I like to learn it because we feel really nice when I'm doing it or learning it, or sparring with someone. So wrestling I learned, so boxing I try. So these are the things which keeps me going, I guess.
Good.
And this is how I motivate myself. कि यार ठीक है, वहाँ पे जाके भी थोड़ा बहुत तो कुछ कर ही लेते हैं ना. So this is the thing I'm good at. So maybe I
Hmm.
can do much better there. So
Hmm.
I see, now it sounds very cliche, but I actually try to, do a thing in a much better way than what I did. So I'll tell you, in my interview podcast, what I do is like I ask for feedback from everybody. Okay, I ask for feedback from everybody, and I have actually improved on those feedbacks, and that's how I've tried. Like, so I try to motivate myself by knowing what are the things I can change in myself. So I think,
Hmm.
because I cannot be a perfect person, but
You
okay,
can keep trying.
I'm
Hmm.
happy being in that, I'm
Yeah.
happy being in the
Hmm.
top 50. I am not striving to be the first. I like, there's one famous thing which I really like. If you play the infinite game, right, you eventually
Hmm.
win. Like, if you like, if you do not give up, like, it's not giving up is not the word. If you do not stop trying, na, eventually you will win.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years
Hmm.
down the line, I don't remember. I
Hmm.
think that's what I said to Taleha also yesterday, right? If
Hmm.
you, I think you have a call with her today.
Hmm.
So if you hear her story, right? If you hear her story, you will know this. And I felt it was a testament to this. Ki if you do not give up, right, you
Hmm.
will win in the end. And that's why Taleha, I'm like, no. Now my entire family know who Taleha is. Okay, my cousins are sending congratulations to her. I'm like, मेरे को भी बोलो. And then they're like, नहीं, हम तालिया दीदी को बोलेंगे, and then that is how it is. But yeah, she is so inspiring. And I told Naki, like, even if I would have, I know I wouldn't have won, but in a hypothetical scenario, if I would have won, that would have like actually made me feel कि shit यार, मतलब I do not deserve it in front of Talia. At least if Talia is in the room, I'll take a step back and I'll be like, okay, no, this person is more deserving. Let her win. To be very honest, okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
She's been doing podcasting for like now say suppose 12 years. I mean, like, she's
Wow.
she has been doing it since before, I don't know, people knew what the term podcast
People know what podcasting is. That the
is.
word even was new.
Like, yeah, so that's been amazing. And I think once I've seen her now, I'm so like, oh my God, I do not have any excuses actually to, give up things. Ki, nahi, nahi,
Hmm.
aisa.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is
But
my
that Hmm. But that's like I really feeling so happy and motivated talking to you. One thing I would disagree when you said that I'm not that talented. I think you are super talented. हर किसी के पास एक तो सुपर पावर होती है and I think you are using your super power the max. That's what they say. Like हर किसी को एक टैग के साथ भेजते हैं. There is this movie named as Soul. This is a Pixar movie. If you have
okay.
ever heard about it, this is on Disney Hotstar Plus. It's an animated movie. Do try to see that. I recommend that to everyone. And that says that you come on Earth with a tag, right? And you have your superpower. So you are only sent when you have that tag with you. I think you already have that tag, and you are using that for your best. So when you said that I'm not talented, I would disagree to that. You are super talented, and obviously with the things like martial art and everything, you have to keep learning. आप हर चीज का master नहीं हो सकते. But
Yeah,
when you learn, you are giving yourself at least a motivation कि I can keep trying. At least you are getting better.
yeah,
कि कल जहाँ थे वहाँ से तो we are doing better ना कुछ
yeah,
एक नई चीज
true.
तो learn करी. And the only difference between children and adult are like जैसे हम बड़े होते हैं हम learn करना छोड़ देते हैं. And that's how we
Yeah,
come in that traps of depression, anxiety और क्या करें सब सही नहीं चल रहा वाला
true.
trap. The more you are into learning part के अभी भी learn करना है या अभी भी पढ़ना है या अभी भी कुछ सीखना है अभी अभी भी कुछ करना है, तो यू विल कीप मूविंग, तो आपको कभी भी
Yeah.
यू वोंट फील दैट वॉइड कि अब मैं क्या, आई मीन कभी होगा भी तो वो बहुत शॉर्ट लिव्ड होगा, दैट वोंट बी लॉन्ग. So yeah, so thank you so very much, Anurag Manik, for coming on my show. I hope we have many more in upcoming time. In my upcoming season, I would like to invite you again, and I hope you
Thank you
have
so
many more
much.
experiences to share इसके
Yeah.
बाद से. So thank you so much. And for listeners, I'll be specifying his ID and everything in case you want to talk, you want to message. Feel free to message, voice message him on any of the social media handles. So thank you so much. And for my listeners, stay happy, stay blessed, and most importantly, stay grateful. I'll see you in another podcast maybe. Bye bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye.